What is up, Flavor family? It's Bobby, and you guys have been jonesing on my Whole30 meal prep, and I don't blame you. It's a diet that I firmly believe in, and you know what? It really challenges my creativity to come up with some bomb meal prep that is Whole30 compliant. But today I dreamt up another recipe that is Whole30, monster on flavor, and crazy creative. So I hope you're ready for chicken, hummus, and pita meal prep. Spice-crusted chicken thighs cooked in a hot cast iron pan, served with roasted beet hummus and a herby, citrusy flatbread. So listen, if you like straight up delicious meal prepping that is monster on flavor, you found the best channel on YouTube. Just click subscribe. I'm rocking out new videos every Friday, and I want you to be a part of the Flav City community. In front of me, I have 10 boneless, skinless chicken thighs, which I love and have a ton more flavor than chicken breasts. But speaking of flavor, you know Bobby likes his spice rubs, and I most importantly like my smoked paprika. So we're gonna make a really quick and easy one with a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of coriander, and a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So give that a nice little mix up. Before I hit that up with the spice rub, I want to dust some salt over the chicken, then sprinkle over half of the spice rub, and then shake over some fresh thyme. Give the chicken a flip, and then a little more salt, and the rest of the spice rub. All right, I'm gonna give this marinade about 15 to 20 minutes to do its thing. Plus, you guys know my chicken rules. I never put cold chicken into a hot pan because it cooks unevenly and it might be tough. In the meantime, we're gonna get cracking on the Paleo Whole30 approved flatbread. Because when you're having this kind of wrap, you want pita so bad, but you can't eat pita when you're on Whole30. But this one you can, and it has spices and herbs and citrus, and it is so freaking good. Measure 1.25 cups of the almond flour and get that in the bowl. And 1.25 cups of the tapioca starch too. You could also use arrowroot starch if you don't have tapioca starch. Now I wanna make these flatbreads full of flavor without adding any additional fat. So we haven't zested in a couple videos, and I know that's an official crime. So let's add the zest of about half a lemon here. And then shake in a teaspoon of freshly chopped thyme, along with a teaspoon of parsley, a quarter teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves, quarter teaspoon of salt, and a few cracks of black pepper. Now, once again, you know I love to play in dessert land when it comes to savory recipes, but cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, cardamom, those kind of spices are so darn good in savory recipes. Wait till you try this, you're gonna love it. All right, let's whisk this bad boy up. That way all the dry ingredients get thoroughly combined. And then for the liquid, I'm using full fat coconut milk, which is Whole30 approved. Just make sure it doesn't have any emulsifiers like guar gum. So add 2 cups and then stir to combine. And then I let the batter sit for about 5 minutes so all those flours and starches can get hydrated, and it kind of has a loose pancake batter consistency. Now back yonder, I'm preheating a large nonstick pan. I'm gonna put it up here over medium-high heat. And initially I was thinking, oh, let's do cute little flatbreads individual style, but that would take about maybe 2 or 3 batches and a good 25 minutes of my time. Dude, we're making one giant pita of a flatbread, and then we'll cut out some shapes later on. So let's take our batter here and pour in a good amount. Good. Then pour it to the edges. Then let it do its thing. Don't even touch it, and you'll see after a couple minutes, it starts to bubble up kind of like naan. I'll let it go for a good 5 or 6 minutes, then give it a little flip. While the flatbread is getting its bubbles on, we can move on to the beet hummus, which I made for the first time last week on Instagram stories. And if you guys saw it, everyone who had dinner at our house that night loved it. So I wanted to tweak it, fine tune it, and share it with you guys. So before we started, I roasted 2 pounds of beets. I would highly recommend using some food safe gloves because the beets stain like nobody's business. I'm gonna grab some paper towels here. The skin peels off relatively easily, just like that. Now I know what you're thinking. I'll just skip that process. They have the canned beets in the aisles, or nowadays they have the steam beets in the refrigerator aisle. Don't be a lazy butt, because roasting the beets creates such a better flavor than buying the store-bought ones. I can't even tell you. And this is coming from a lazy butt. I do, cut corners when you can, but this is not one of those times, you guys. So you have to put the work in, get a little dirty, because it's totally worth it. All right, last beet is down. T-shirt reference there, by the way. Take off my gloves. This officially looks like a scene from The Walking Dead. Let's flip the pancake. You could do it with a spatula or some kind of pancake flipper, but we're doing it real deal, baby. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh! Try it again. 1, 2, 3. Papa! Yeah, boy! So you gotta commit. If you have any wavering, it ain't gonna work. But that looks good. Golden brown, nice and crunchy on the outside. It took a good 7 to 8 minutes. All right, to proceed with our beet hummus, I have my blender carafe here. I'm gonna pop all the beets in there. And then whenever you're making any kind of hummus, tahini is a must. If you grew up in the Middle East, tahini is your version of peanut butter. It's nutty, earthy, and a little bitter, and it's an absolute must for hummus. So I'm gonna add a good 1/4 cup. And then grate 3 cloves of garlic directly in. You don't even need to peel the paper because it stays on the top side, and the garlic just comes through on the bottom like that. Then add the zest of half a lemon. Cut the lemon in half. And we'll start with just the juice of half. And then before we proceed, I can tell the pancake is done. You can just hear that it's sizzling and perfectly golden brown on the other side. So if I turn it out this way, look at that. Nice and golden, and you can see those little flecks of herbs and citrus running all throughout. That is really cool. Let's add some more batter to the pan. All right, getting back to the beet hummus, I'm gonna use some more of those spices that we use for the chicken. So add about a 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika and a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Pinch in 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a few cracks of black pepper, and then finally get some good extra virgin olive oil and stream in a couple tablespoons. All right, I'm gonna slap the lid on the blender, and it comes in handy if you have one of these plunging attachments. Slap it on the base here and just blend away. By the way, you could also do this in a food processor. It would work just fine. Look at that color. It's gorgeous, kind of pink, purple, super silky and smooth. It's also the perfect color for Valentine's Day next week. Valentine's Day and The Walking Dead all in one video. How'd I do that? Ooh, roasted beet flavor is money. Tahini creamy, but it does need a little more salt and lemon juice. Let me get that in. Real quickly, let's flip this guy and do it normal, not like a rock star. Gorgeous. And then pour that sexy beet hummus out of that blender. Make this for V-Day, you guys. That's sexy grub. All right, the second flatbread is ready. Let's get it out. Beautiful, golden brown and delish. Let's go straight in with the last of the batter. All right, I'm moving this guy to the back because we gotta make some room for the chicken, baby. Speaking of the chicken, let's swap it out for the flatbreads. And the beauty of that marinade is that it's seeped down into the chicken. When it hits that cast iron pan, it's gonna create the most flavorful, crispy, golden brown, crusty crust ever. To achieve that, I'm preheating my cast iron pan over medium-high heat. I don't want olive oil, I want my new obsession, avocado oil. Pretty much the same thing as grapeseed oil. It's perfect for high heat cooking, and it has no flavor. So go ahead and add a couple teaspoons to the pan. And because I want this done quickly, I'm preheating a second cast iron pan back here too, because you can't overcrowd the chicken in the pan, otherwise it won't get crusty AF. So add the chicken to the pan. Because I want my life to be easy for the cleanup, take your oil splatter guard, slap that down, and then put down the rest of the chicken back here. Let's give the chicken a flip. Wow. Dude, that is gorgeous. Look at the spice crust on that. That is so much flavor, I can't even begin to tell you. Let it do its thing for another 3 minutes on the other side, and we'll evacuate. All right, the chicken is done. Let's evacuate. Oh, I wish you guys could smell what the Bob is cooking, because this chicken smells outrageous. All right, that is it, my friends. The chicken is done. All we have to do is wait for that flatbread, and then we can build a plate. Cut up that pita into quarters, and then slather it with a healthy spoonful of that beet hummus. Slice the chicken up. Oh, you guys, look how juicy that chicken thigh is. So darn good. And slice it up thin. Put that on top of the pita. Garnish with some crunchy pistachios and some green onions. You guys, look at that sexy grub. It kind of looks like something you might see at one of those fast casual Middle Eastern places, but they don't have this on their menu, trust me. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up just like a wrap. We're going in. That was a big bite. Wow, you guys, The flatbread is crazy crispy and flavorful thanks to all the herbs and the citrus. The beet hummus is creamy and tons of flavor in there, but that chicken is juicy and the spices are just making my taste buds pate. That's it, you guys. The recipe is down below in the description box, along with the storage, macros, reheating, all that good stuff. I would keep everything separately in the fridge. They will last 5 days or 2 to 3 months in the freezer. I got 2 more videos streaming below me. All you have to do is hook me up and subscribe to my channel and share this video because sharing is caring. I'll see you next week. Until then, hashtag keep on cooking, mad love. Peace.